Hello, and welcome back to Factorio. I'm Dorthek, and this is the next episode in our Factorio 0.17, 0.18 tutorial walkthrough Let's Play. In the last episode, we made ourselves some power armor and scaled up production of various resources. My plan for today is to work on science, but before we do that, I wanted to make a small change to our nuclear setup to prepare for the future. Actually, two small changes. The first change is in the way we handle Covarex here, very slight. As you may recall, the centrifuge takes in 40, puts out 41, that goes through the loop and back in. The excess comes out onto the belt. And we currently have this set to pull out when there's more than 40 in here, because that's what we need for the next cycle. However, at this point, these machines are running at 80. They already contain 80, so that's a lot of uranium to keep trapped in there. What I'm going to do is change this to a lower number. Say, I don't know, 15? And that'll just free up some of it. As long as we have some buffer, it should be plenty. And this will just get us some more. The other thing is, currently the U-235 comes through here, goes around, and the only real buffering for it is in these boxes, which I'm mostly using for sorting. Like, this box has built up some 400 U-235. We don't need to have it there. That's not the most convenient place. So instead, we're going to tweak this section here a little bit. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move this to here. And we are going to remove that and put a box here. And then we're going to have a load or unload from there with a limit. Red wire. And we're going to say offload it if the U-235... nope, wrong. Is greater than, I don't know, 500? And we can, nope, we need that one. There we go. And that will build up the U-235 in here, which is perfectly fine. Remember, these are closed loop. Right, we don't actually need this U-235 to feed these machines at this point. So that's what we will do. We will trap it in here, and eventually we will put. Doesn't even have to be eventually. We can do it now. We'll put a provider chest on it, so that we can get access to it. Is that going to be in range? That will. That way we can get at that U-235 that is in there. As you can see, there's still plenty of it coming out of the system, and we have plenty stored up here. So now that Covarex is full up and running, we can change that and stockpile it for the future. Alright, that's all I want to do here, so let's head back to the mall and work on our next project. And I'll meet you over there. Alright, so previously we had built Purple Science, which is supplied from here and created here. And we've now run out of technology that uses it. Everything that's left requires yellow science. So let's take a look at what we need for yellow science. Now, yellow science is the most difficult science pack of them. Except, you know, the space science, the white science pack, which we need actual rockets for. But of the ones that we craft, this is the most difficult. And it's not that the recipe itself is hard. It's only 3 ingredients. It's that those 3 ingredients are hard. We need processing units, flying robot frames, and low-density structures. So, as before, let's take a look at the Kirk McDonald calculator for this recipe. So I've already set it to look at to do 0.17.6, which is the same recipe set as in 0.18, and I'm still keeping it at blue assemblers, even though we have the yellow Mark III assemblers. And I've set it for 90 items per minute, which is what our target has been. So as you can see, we need 30 robot flying frames per minute. This is the old icon. We now have the new one. We need 60 blue circuits, and we're going to need 90 low-density structures. Well, let's take a look at what that involves. That means 13.4 assemblers for flying robot frames, and it means 13.4 assemblers for blue circuits. Let's go back over to the Factorio screen and take a look at what we have. So for blue circuits, we currently have 20, and they're yellow assemblers at that, not even blue. So we have plenty of blue circuits, assuming we can feed them. However, for the flying robot frames over here, we only have 10. So we're going to need to expand this, and that's not a problem because we just need to cut and paste this blueprint a couple more times. The pipe maker here is sufficient to feed them. So we're going to just copy this, paste it like so. And this is all in robot range, so we'll let the robots build them up. Great. That should provide us with enough flying robot frames to do what we need to do. Provided, again, we can keep it fed, which is always going to be a challenge. The real issue then is low-density structures. We will need them for a couple of things, so there's something we'll put on the bus. So let's take a look at the calculator for just the low-density structures. So we need 90 of them. Let's find them in here. They should be right there. And we want 90. No, not factories. Items per minute. Thank you. Okay. At the blue assembler level so we can more easily scale up. Now, the problem here is they require steel, copper, and plastic. And if you look at the numbers here, they're very, very high. This one's, let's switch it to items per second because it's a little easier that way. It wants 2 belts of copper, and a belt of iron plates just for this. And then also, you know, a little bit of steel. We're going to have a little bit of a challenge feeding this, but, you know, we'll build it out and do what we can. We also need half a belt of plastic. So let's go ahead and set up for that. And I will meet you over here where we will build low-density structures. All right, here we are. Let's clear out some of these woods. So we needed, according to the calculator, we need 40 assemblers building. And copper is going to be the big limiting factor there. So let's start. I'm going to use yellow assemblers, even though we are designing with blue, but that's fine. Let's just take a look at it. So copper, steel, and plastic. And the steel and plastic is 1 belt will feed all 40, whereas copper we want 2 belts. So this actually is fairly straightforward. The problem is just going to be keeping it supplied. So this is our out belt and in belts. Right, it's a 20-second craft time, so we want copper on the inside and then the split belts on the outside. So we will just do it like this. It's a fairly standard setup for us. Okay. In, 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 and in, in. Do I not have red assembler, I do not. Let's put in a request for those, and we need to be standing in the logistic range for it to work. Okay, and we can put in that just so it stops blinking at us. And we want, so we want copper on the inside, which means we will bring in copper individually, since we need 2 belts worth. But we can split these belts. So you know what? Let's put you there. Put you there for the moment, just so that we can stay in the logistics zone. Oh, that's base bots are building that rather than my bots, which means it's going to take a while. But I really don't want to run out of logistics zone and kill this whole train, so we'll just wait here for a moment, and I will be right back once they either build this or finish my deliveries. And it looks like the 2 happened almost simultaneously. That's the end of my deliveries, and there goes that guy. Alright, perfect. So, copper is right here. Let's bring it in. And I'm using red belts because whatever. Okay. Now we are right shifting. So we will split off here. And we will split off right here. Okay, so that's copper. And then we need steel and plastic, and that can be 1 belt, as we said. Do I have a jumpy stick in my memory here? No. That's okay. We'll just make a copy of, say that. Alright, nope, that's misaligned. Whoa, okay, I got something wrong here. Yep. You go there. No. There. Okay, where is steel and where there's steel? One half of it. And where's plastic? Apparently we haven't used plastic in a while. There it is. Okay, 1 2 Yes, yes, I know. I'm using up all these belts that you want to deliver to me. That's fine, but I'm not going to hold still for you for too long. And let's run it out here. There we go. And that goes that way. So, let's just do it like this. There we go. Now, we needed 40 of these blocks. Let's make a copy of it. Like so. Oh, I did not hook this up. And let's get this copy because it'll be easier to use. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're not going to be able to feed all of this because again we used yellow rather than blue assemblers, but that's okay because we don't need this much. This is more than what we really scaled for. I'm just gonna help the robots out. Oh, and I'm out of belts. How many am I requesting currently? 500? Let's request 1,000. That requires us to be in logistics range. Which, you know, it's fine and all, but we're not. Okay, and the robots can do the rest. And the very end of it is not in, even in the build zone, but that's okay. And here we have our forgot with the new interface you have to click enter twice, or... And let's wait for us to be restocked. But we are in fact producing those guys. Where do we want to put it on the bus? Where do we have space? This segment? This is flying robot frames and nothing else? Yep, this is perfect. Okay, so we will put it right on this segment right here. So let's take our jumpy stick and jump down now. And we can put a... there. And we want to go down to here. Let's see, where, yeah, because we can build yellow signs down there, so we want to take it in both directions. That's good. Let's make sure this is all working. And built. Yep. And it looks like the limiting factor is copper, despite the fact that we've got 2 belts feeding it, because there's just not that much copper coming in. Let's see. What's the story on copper? We have only 2 smelting arrays, and they are slow arrays at that. Well, those are the only 2 feeding the bus. Well, we have two ways to fix that. The first is we can add more arrays, but we're still feeding this all from here. Probably going to need more copper coming in up here, but we'll get back to that. Let us just upgrade it and see if we can make do with that. Because as you can see, the copper is running out, and while we need only about half an array running, we're not really even getting half an array. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our belt upgrader, go into map mode, and we're going to upgrade all of this. And all of this. And all of this. And then all of that. And we're also going to upgrade the furnaces. And we're also going to need to upgrade the supply belt. Which is going to put a significant strain on this array, because I don't know that it'll be able to produce enough to feed all that. But still, let's take a look and see what we get. Most of this can be built by the base robots. Most of this upgrade, and I really give them a workout. But there were a couple of places that didn't have, were not in range. So we're going to help them out. We don't need to upgrade that, so I'm going to do Shift Upgrade Planner. Fix that. Now this is still all inside build range. It's once we're past here that's an issue. So let's come over here. And yeah, this doesn't actually need upgrading. We just got it by on the way. Okay, and down here is the really important part. Let's not get hit by a train. And let's run this out because I can do this faster than the bots can. There we go. This still needs upgrading, and lots of upgrading still in here. Alright, so here we are. Let's help out the base robots and see if we can get this completed. There we go. And it looks like we're starting to saturate this. The bottom furnaces aren't quite firing yet. There's still a gap or two. That looks like we still have a tiny bit right here that we missed. Yep. There we go. That's saturated and looks like they're all firing in this one, and these are still backed up a bit. But the important thing is we have two red belts worth of copper coming in once it catches up, because It's being actively used in places. We're backed up, so we can't really tell until we start using this. Which means we can now go ahead and build our yellow science array. And here's some cliffs for us to blow up. Which I always enjoy, as you know. Okay. So over here we will build our yellow science array, and if we flip back to the calculator, we can see that we need 14 machines for this array, which I think may be the same as we have here. Yeah. So yeah, we actually can pretty much just copy this array here. Now we're going to do it with yellow assemblers, I think, at this point. Although it doesn't matter too much. And yeah, let's upgrade all the belts here, because there's no reason for us to use the yellow belts there. And we can upgrade the machines. Alright. Yeah, and we need to set the machines to the yellow science pack, the utility science pack. Okay. So this is a 21-second craft time. We need 3 ingredients in low amounts. So none of this is what matters which belt is on where. So let's get it set up. We need power. There we go. There's our 2 input belts. And we'll put low density structures on one of them. And that's in fact right here. And I'm not going to split this here, because I know we don't need them for anything else upstream of our, of here, up the bus that way. So they can just go entirely into here. Except we probably want to split them. Yeah. Now, flying robot frames. Actually, no, we'll do low-density structures on their own belt. But still, we need to go get flying robot frames, which are down here. Here we go. And this we will, well, I don't think we actually need that for anything else further down either. But we do need to also bring in blue circuits, which are down below. So this can go like that. Like that. And like that. There we are. And again, I'm pretty sure we don't need flying robot frames for anything other than making robots and making the yellow science packs. There's no reason to not terminate this into this belt. And hey, look at that. We've got yellow science. Now, we do need to put it on the other side of the bus. So we're going to do that. Like so. And then we can bring this out. like so. And we have yellow science. We'll see if we're able to maintain that pace, but for the moment, it's there. Well, let's dump these extra flying robot frames from my inventory into the machines here. I sure don't need to be carrying them around. Not flying robot frames, low density structures. And let's take a look at our at what we can build with this. Utility science, and the most important thing we want is this right here, the logistics system. This will give us significantly more things we can do with our robots and generally improve life. Let's make sure it's working, and we will call that a successful day. Okay, here comes the first yellow science. Not yet. Okay, here comes the first yellow science. And the labs are starting to come online. But yep, there's our first pixel of green with the new yellow science. So, in my experience, purple science is the most complicated one to build, that we needed a lot of different things, right? We had to make rails and furnaces and modules. Yellow science is in some ways a simpler recipe, but it tends to require the most resources. I usually find yellow to be the hardest one to keep fed when it's going full blast, and you can see, you know, copper is being used heavily. We'll see what happens when everything is running full blast, since right now we're backed up on all the other science, but can definitely be a challenge. I also want to put a lane balancer on the output, because as we can see, it's being drawn heavily from one side. So let's just toss a balancer onto it right here. Or right here. Right here's good. There we go. Oh, that's that's the wrong thing. That's the blue. That's our blue chips. We wanted it on here. Well, blue chips could use it too, but we will put another one here. There we go. And you can see right away that blue chips are struggling to keep up. But, no, they're not all running, because we are not getting enough green chips. So, we need to, that's our bottleneck, because we're using a lot of blue chips for yellow science. And what's happening with our green circuits? Where are we? Right here? Yeah. What's the bottleneck for them? Iron. Oh, because we're not shifting iron in. That's interesting. I thought we fixed that in the previous video. Very strange, but let's go fix it. That's an easy fix. Okay, we can see that the iron is only making it about that far. So, let's... this will input priority to the left, and this will input priority to the right. So that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3 sets, 1, 2, 3 sets. So we want to put these, oh, we somehow got some copper on that line. Let's get rid of that. And there we go. Now all of them are happily working. Now we're going to be bottlenecked, of course, by copper. And we finished logistic network. We will explore that in the next episode. Meanwhile, the next thing we want to research is going to be lab research speed. That's pretty much always what you want to prioritize. The logistic network, there was a reason to prioritize that first. But now we will take lab research speed, as that will help us with everything else. I'm not sure this balancer is quite working right. It definitely seems like we're getting more on here than on there. We may need to replace that. As you can see, this side is getting a lot more copper than that side. But, at least it's all working, and it looks like we've got most of it fairly saturated. Probably need another block. Let's see. Did that help our blue circuit problem? We're getting there. What I don't understand is why so much more is going there than here. Oh, because this is still all yellow. Where's that soul? That part is red. Let's do a little bit of upgrading here. Not all of it, but just, I think, this section here. Like that much. And then, there. Because that'll just use up these belts more effectively. It'll shove them down into the belt we're actively drawing from. Just to get a little bit more on the left side. As you can see, the right side is making it almost the whole way. The left side is definitely not. Alright, we can let the bots run on that. And, I think we're doing pretty well here. Still, happy about how that's being handled. We're definitely getting a lot more to the right than to the left. No longer needed. Let's just make sure this is all red in here. It is. So why is it getting so much more here? I think this 3 to 6 balancer is not, is incorrect. So let's cut this off. I'm just going to show you this so that you can see how we resolve this type of problem. Oh, this is not going anywhere at all. Hold on a sec, it might not be the balancer, it might be us. 3 to 6. There should be belts there. Like that. Aha. We somehow missed 2 belts. Let's see what happens now once we... There we go. Now that's looking a lot more balanced. Alright, we got our lab research speed. Worker robot speed is very nice, because that lets all of our logistic and construction bots move faster. There we are. That's better. Alright. My bad. I blame the balancer when it was actually my fault entirely. There we go. And now both sides are getting plenty of copper. And so all the machines should be working, and we should be getting much closer to 4 full yellow belts out. Not quite there yet. There we go. That's looking better. Almost. Maybe drop one more module like this. And then this here. And here. This is going to be output priority to the left. But it's at output right. No, output priority to the left. We don't have an input priority. This is output priority to the right. Did I set these correctly? No. There. That's what we wanted. There we go. That's looking better. That's looking like almost 4 solid belts. And once they get downstream, life will be good. Okay, one more tech. We can take the next level of worker robot speed because again, that'll help with all our robots. And on that note, we are going to stop. You now know everything you need to build yellow science in your own factory. So why don't you go ahead, try doing that yourself. And as always, don't forget to save.